Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of Lunch with Lattice. I am your host, Lattice. So, today, we are having a steak bomb from the Hornet's Nest in North Reading. This place is unreal. Been around for 50 years. For whatever reason, this is the second time I'm ever having it. Dave, the owner, this guy's figured it out. Bakes his own bread. Steak bombs, unreal. Buffalo chicken, unreal. His pizzas, unreal. You guys have to check it out. The Hornet's Nest, Reading, Massachusetts. All right, guys, so today we're talking about what is going on in the housing market. I mean, we're in a very unique situation, and I'm sure everyone wants to know where we headed. So it's important to note that the median home price keeps going up. We're at 15% year over year growth rate, and everyone is saying it's a bubble, it's gonna pop, the market's gonna crash. But honestly, housing prices are really just lag indicators. So they're just a result of what's going on in the economy right now, not necessarily where we're going to next. So how do we figure out what's going to happen in the future? Well, I'd love to tell you exactly what's going to happen, but I don't have a crystal ball. And any analyst that tells you they know what's going to happen is just lying, because it's impossible to know. However, there are indicators that can help us come up with potential housing predictions, or at least steer us in the general direction of what could happen in the future. Now, there are two main indicators that are arguably more important than the others. Those are inventory and interest rates. So today we're just going to be talking about inventory. I'm going to shoot another video on interest rates. That way, you're not just drinking all this information out of a fire hose. Inventory is arguably the main reason why we are in the current situation that we're in. There just isn't enough inventory to satisfy buyer demands. So if you've ever taken like an economics class, you know that when demand is high and supply is low, prices go up. So basically, there are not enough houses for sale, which means more buyers are competing for the same home than there ever has been. And this leads to bidding wars and FOMO, fear of missing out, which in turn drives prices higher. One of the ways we measure inventory is through something called active homes. This is basically just the amount of homes on the market in a given month. The lack of inventory really started in the beginning of 2020, and it really just hasn't recovered. So if you didn't know this already, the real estate market fluctuates throughout the year and has a certain seasonality to it. So active listings also have a history of seasonality. So what we want to do is compare year over year numbers. So let's use December 2021 and December 2020. In this example, active listings actually declined 18% year over year. Now, 2020 wasn't even a great year for active inventory. So what really happened is in 2020, there was a decline from 2019. And then in 2021, there was an 18% decline from 2020. What does all this mean? Basically, this means there's not enough property owners putting their houses on the market. So, if you guys really want to solve this housing crisis, tell everyone you know who owns a house to call me so we can get active inventory up. Just kidding. Not really. But I am. Kind of. Just call me. Anyway, if it's such a hot seller's market, why aren't more people putting their houses on the market, John? That is a great question, my friend, because that does not make any sense. It's counterintuitive. But I'll tell you this, one of the main reasons is that sellers are afraid they won't be able to find a new home. There's so much competition out there that, yes, they'll be able to sell their home quickly for a lot of money, but then what? Where do they go? And thus, we find ourselves in a vicious cycle. But I do have some good news. Experts are saying that competition is starting to decline, and they're actually predicting that more houses may be coming on the market in 2022. Now, I know what you're saying. But John, you told us the supply doesn't meet the demand. So how would competition be going down? That is another great question. Well, one of the leading indicators of competition is days on market. And we've started to see houses sitting on the market for longer periods of time. Now, it's not a drastic change, but this is just telling us that there are less buyers competing for properties that just came on the market. The other indicator is sales price. So yes, sales prices haven't dropped much, but there has been a small decrease in the percentage over the original list price that houses are closing at. I'm not saying people aren't paying over asking, because they are. But we're seeing more properties go for less than 15% over asking versus 15, 20, 25% over asking. So you're probably gonna still pay over asking for a quality property, but it's not as drastic as it was last year. And number 3, this is construction inventory, new construction. So you may have heard that with all the supply chain issues, building materials skyrocketed, which it did. This is true. But this is one of the many reasons why new construction slowed down over the past couple of years. However, we do have to note that the average time to complete new construction in the United States, not just the East Coast, not just the West Coast, the national average is around 9 months. So experts are saying that as builders started taking on more projects in the second half of 2021, we should start seeing more new construction hitting the market around Q2, which would be great. Sick, John. So what does all this mean? Well, instead of having a slow Q1 like we typically have in the real estate industry, we're really seeing a very busy start to the year. So although busy season has historically been spring and summer, our busy season has already started and we're still in January. Another note I have to make is that over the past couple of years, we have seen a shift from you can't sell your house in the winter to anytime is really a great time to sell, no matter the season. And like I said, I'm not going to get into interest rates right now, but that is another very important indicator of where this market might be going this year. So I'm going to shoot another video on how demand for mortgages is rising, even though interest rates started rising last week. Doesn't really make sense, I know, but it will, I promise. So again, guys, thank you for having lunch with me. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I will see you soon. Thank you.